little health and a little wealth and a lot of love.
So Chase, congratulations. I project 37% of your income should go to your housing. And guys, if you want the spreadsheet, go to suitsandscrubspodcast.com. It's part of the spreadsheet. Did it help you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that in a second. 37%, Chase, you're 29%.
Nice.
So kudos to that. Okay. Your utilities are 276. Your internet.
The utilities are higher.
Yeah, your utilities higher, but that's okay. Like, so your internet, so you're paying for cable and internet and all that.
No. So doing this scrub, basically what I did is I got internet and I was like, give me the best internet. And their best internet apparently is $180 a month. And I didn't need $180 a month internet. AT&T. I mean, I have like what restaurants pay for their, I mean, the amount of data.
Action for you is that's the first thing that we're going to do is reduce that.
Of course. Yeah. I was doing that today because they kind of were like, I don't know why they let you get this. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes no sense. Almost like paying two insurance payments on your truck. That
which
helps
we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
So when we do these financial reviews, is why it's so important. But like you, a lot of Americans don't sit down and do their budgets every month. They just like, oh, I hope it's going to make, I'm just going to do this. And there's some things that I've done some analysis on that's I think is going to shock you. And I hope it shocks you to take the right action. But I
most assuredly will. Yeah. I mean, Zach, the fact of the matter is my job pays for my ability to go out and do what I do. But again, because I have the money that I can do, like, really it's just comfort. And not, I make it sound like, I don't mean to belittle certain things, like, but there's stuff like paying for, lawn care, paying for this, paying for that, like that you kind of don't worry about when you're in college. Like, you don't worry about you're in college, then you have a job, you're like, I need that. Right. And you forget that, like, oh shoot, that adds up. $65 every 2 weeks is $100. Like that's $1,000.
Let's hold that because I want to get into specifics. I'm not going to go through every single one of your.
Oh no, look, I went and had to do this for the podcast, and I gave myself an ulcer just looking at because I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I did that.
Your expenses. So so there is value that you've had here, and we'll talk more about those specifics, especially about some things you found because we talked about off camera. I want to tell you guys about this. Really quickly, your car payment is $653.98. I'm gonna tell you this. I like you to be about 10%. You're at 15.2%. So you're way above where your range is in the car payment.
Fuck it. I like my truck. I'm keeping my truck.
And we're gonna talk about that. And then your food budget is actually right in range. $800 a month is what you say. But let's look at that. Your entertainment budget, I say about 10%. You're well below that, but I don't think you're representing your entertainment budget.
Well, it's kind of broken up in other things because entertainment in regards to subscriptions, and all that.
Different. We have a different category for it. But
well, I'm not
drinking.
So
tickets for a bar or a show.
Yeah. Well, I have my Bananas tickets and my Ghost Pirates tickets that are on there, and that's what my entertainment is, what I categorize that, because that is the entertainment. Like we go out to go Bananas,
right?
Go Ghost Pirates.
Well, they're not sponsored. So based upon your total household income, your household income is $5,500, and your take home is $7,600, and this is the kind of budget that you set for yourself, and leftover to save is about $2,000 each month. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's break this down a little bit further. So that is your budget, and I would say that it's a pretty healthy income for your level. So let's go through some of your statements, right? So you use Chase Reserve. Actually, let's go through your
network. Wait, so yeah, this is after taxes.
Yes, this is your take-home pay.
Correct. Yeah, I made sure to do that.
Yeah,
if you don't, you're an idiot.
Exactly. Well, you're not an idiot, but you just you don't represent your income level fairly.
I would say, younger me would not know that.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean? Who the heck is Fid? Like, why is he getting this much money?
Social Security. Yeah, that's a whole nother episode of all right. All right, so look at your checking account. So you have 15,000 and 3,000. So you have about 19,000 of cash on hand. Which, if you look at this, I always recommend here that you should have 3 to 6 months of your expenses. And I have a very specific formula that I use. And if you go, like, again, like, I have an ebook that I wrote that I have very specific steps that you should do to follow, and I'm going to follow that with you as we do this financial review. But in order for you to have your target, your emergency fund, your first emergency fund target is 16,000, and that should be moved into a savings account. So that's one of the first actions I have for you is you need to stay up to your emergency fund first before anything else, before your credit card, for anything else, which I know is counterintuitive. You then move those funds over into a high yield savings account. So you need about 16.5 in that. And then
you lost me. So back to, like, I mean, we'll have to get to, the critical breakdown first with help. But yeah, I know that I need to be having some sort of, emergency fund. Problem is, at the end, in the way that my pay is not like, I'm assuming your pay. Like, you might get paid every month on one day and it's the same every single time. Mine is every 2 weeks, but then at the end of the month, which is delayed time and time again for verification purposes, we're looking at a 15 to 35 day delay on the commission structure that comes in.
You need more in your emergency fund.
I need more in the emergency fund.
You need way more.
What the commission that comes in does help, but it's not guaranteed every month, and it also, like, doesn't hit on the same time every time. I mean, it does hit at the same time, but, like,
if you were a real estate agent, like, you don't know what you're
paying. Right.
I get it. So what I'm saying to you, people in Chase's profession, people in your profession that does sales, that their income is, I call it variable income, where you don't have consistent income, right? Those folks,
I do have a salary, but that salary is
probably nothing. Well,
the salary is less than what I'm spending on.
Exactly.
And that's what's the problem.
Exactly. It is a problem. And so this is what I tell people in your profession, you should ultimately have a higher emergency fund. So real estate agents who are listening to this, when it was like back in 2020, all you had to do is write a little description, bam, you get a $20,000 check, let's go. I know a lot of my friends who were real estate agents right when the time got great. Now you don't see as many real estate agents because the interest rates are higher. In these professions, you need to have a higher level of variable income that you put into an emergency fund. Same thing with mortgage brokers. Like, one of my best friends is a mortgage broker, and he has a 12-month, probably a 2-year emergency fund, which that's aggressive. I'm not saying that, but I think you should have it. You should start with a 3-month emergency fund.
I got to start with.
You can't touch it.
I need to start with having $1,000 emergency fund.
I'm more aggressive than $1,000 emergency fund because having 3 months of emergency fund, this is specific for you. I looked at your credit card statements and your credit. You need to start there. No, meaning like you need to have that money in your savings as an emergency fund so you don't pull out your credit card, which we'll get into in just a second.
With a little help and a little wealth and a lot of love, that's the life that we live. Suits and scrubs.